Number 4. Cursed Russian Graveyard in the Observation Post Rock, Afghanistan, 1980s. U.S. Marines stationed there often reported unsettling experiences, and local residents believed it to be cursed due to the constant excavation of human remains from Russian graves. This place was where Afghan fighters executed Soviet soldiers during the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan. The combination of unearthed remains and strange events gave this place a nickname, aka the Haunted OP. The UK's Welsh Guards, who occupied the outpost before the Marines, also reported hearing strange noises and seeing strange lights through their night vision goggles. A soldier recounted his experience. "I swear there were muzzle flashes and I saw the flares again. It seemed like the whole place was being lit up. At first I ducked for cover, but there was no other sound or person, just the bright light. It ended suddenly, and I was back to looking at the land through a fuzzy green lens. Then I heard a rough and deep whisper in my ear. Brozay Oruziye, which is Russian for drop your weapon. That is definitely freaky. Would you believe it if I told you that people who die violently can come back as restless ghosts? This next story will show you what I mean. Number 3. Restless Ghosts of Little Bighorn, 1876. The famed Battle of the Little Bighorn is known for the many ghostly encounters that visitors experience in real life, even today. One of the most common sightings is that of Lieutenant Colonel George Custer, a Civil War hero who was the commander of the Washita River Massacre. He and every member of his army were brutally massacred in the Battle of the Little Bighorn. Staff members at the Visitor Center have seen his ghost appear among the museum's artifacts. Clad in his distinctive outdated army uniform, Custer's ghostly figure is said to evoke a strong sense of unease before fading away in seconds. Witnesses mention him shaking his head, in disbelief or horror, perhaps reflecting on the circumstances of his death. In the summer of 1983, Miss Hope, a student intern staying in an apartment at the edge of the Battleground Cemetery, reported something terrifying. She jolted up in fear from her sleep and saw a man sitting in a chair directly opposite her. The strange man ignored her. He was wearing modern clothes with a light beard and a handlebar mustache, and a haircut similar to the soldiers who fought at the Battle of Little Bighorn. His eyes were wide with terror, as if he had seen the devil himself, and he disappeared after a few minutes. The next day, Hope went to the Visitor Center to look for answers. After going through a book that had the histories and pictures of the men killed at Reno's Crossing, she was able to identify 2nd Lieutenant Benjamin H. Hodgson as the apparition she saw the night before. Another unsettling incident was reported by a professor who spotted a soldier in the U.S. Army uniform standing in a dimly lit corner of the Visitor Center. Assuming it was a performer taking a break, the professor casually greeted the figure. However, the soldier remained still and silent while staring ahead and marched towards a storage room before disappearing like a wisp of smoke. This sight will definitely send chills down anyone's spine. If you are open to the idea of encountering spirits for real, this next story is for you. Number 2, the USS Hornet, aka the Grey Ghost. The USS Hornet, berthed at Pier 3 at the former Naval Air Station Alameda, has a haunting presence by itself. The steel gray exterior resembles a hulking ghost, and a radio call sign, the Grey Ghost, adds to the creepy aura. In its 27 years of service, the Hornet witnessed a significant loss of life, around 300 sailors, and it's no wonder the Hornet has an infestation of ghosts till this day. Derek Lyon McKyle, an electrician who worked on the USS Hornet, described one creepy incident he had during Fleet Week in October 1995. We'd all just bunked down, and we had a rule, no exploring. All of a sudden, I heard this banging noise like someone opening the hatches. Peter Clayton, our supervisor, came charging around saying, "Okay, who's sneaking around opening hatches?" We realized that everyone in the group was there. As we were all standing there staring at each other, we heard it again. At that point, we were pretty sure it couldn't have been anyone alive who'd gotten aboard. In July 1998, Pete Ledoux, who was repainting Hangar Bay 3, says, "I was like at 28 feet on a scissors lift. I was up there until about 8:30 at night by myself. I wanted to finish the section before I left. When I had about 2 to 3 gallons of paint left in my machine, I started hearing male voices. They were aircrew talking loudly, dropping tools while working on their airplane. I said out loud, 'Come on guys, I'm almost done for the night. Can you let me finish? Let me get down from here.' This is really starting to spook me." And it stopped just as suddenly as it started. These are just a few of the things people working aboard the Hornet have experienced. If you enjoyed the stories above, just wait for the next one. Number 1. World War II's most famous ghost plane, the P-40. The P-40B is believed to be the only survivor from the Pearl Harbor attacks. There are many stories of ghost planes and strange sightings post-World War II, but none come close to the Pearl Harbor ghost plane. On December 8, 1942, almost a year after the attack on Pearl Harbor, an unidentified plane was picked up on radar headed towards Pearl Harbor from the direction of Japan. When American pilots were sent to intercept the plane, they saw that the mystery plane was a Curtiss P-40 Warhawk and bore markings that had not been used since the attack on Pearl Harbor. When they pulled up next to the craft, they were shocked to find a bullet-ridden plane with its landing gear blown away. Curious as to how a plane in this condition could even fly, they flew closer. Then they noticed the pilot slumped over in the cockpit, his flight suit stained with fresh blood. As they peered, the pilot turned in their direction and waved weakly. Moments later, the mysterious craft plummeted from the sky and smashed into the ground with a deafening roar. However, the search teams never found its wreckage. The entire plane just vanished with its pilot. And the mystery of how the heavy P-40 aircraft could have ever taken off without any landing gear is never going to be answered. And that's all for today's video. Which of these stories scared you the most? Let us know in the comments section.